Hello everyone and welcome to the Pearl Atelier. I'm so glad that you're able to join me today because I'm going to be featuring three old school type of vintage pendants, which is old new stock, meaning to say it is a vintage stock, but it's never been worn or sold before. So I've always wanted to go into those old shops that is run like a family run mom and pop kind of a jewelry store. The kind that they don't bother to renovate and it's like sitting there in the dust, and their jewelry has been sitting there for decades untouched. And I was absolutely right when I relied on my hunch to go inside. So when I first went past the entrance, I was a little bit disappointed because hung on the walls were those regular, generally mass-produced medallions. So those I'm not very interested because you can get them anywhere. And then I persevered and I went inside, and there underneath the glass case was the most wonderful old stock of vintage pendants, and I can see immediately that they have been there for decades. I would say probably from the 1960s, 1970s. So I went in there because I had the intention of getting a pendant for my niece. So I settled on this peach pendant, which is in an apple green color with a PSU on top. And what are wonderful about these vintage old school pendants is the bail on it. And it's in the old school style of gold. It's pure gold, and so to some it may look old-fashioned, but to me I felt that it's really suited to the design of the pendants. And then I wanted to get one for myself because they had such fabulous pieces, and I got this pendant which is made up of peaches, and in the front of it, it's double-sided. In front of it there is a bat, and at the back there are peaches and flowers on it. So if you do not like the bat, you can spin it around and you can wear the side with the flowers on it. And what I love about vintage pendants is that they are so much more thinner than modern pendants. What I mean is that when you lay the pendants flat and see it from the side, it's absolutely thin, and as opposed to modern pendants which tends to be very chunky looking because they are made up of like almost like slabs of jade. So when you wear it, it sort of looks chunky. It doesn't really look refined, and that is one way how you can tell if it's a vintage piece of pendant. And I always prefer the old school or vintage pendants because people in those days, they don't really know how to cheat. So there is no such thing as fake jade pendants. They don't know how to do that at that period in time, and they are using pure gold bails on it. And as I mentioned, the jade pendants tend to be thinner, so it looks so much more refined when you're wearing it, and so much more lighter looking and pleasing to the eye. And also the carvings of it tend to be much more softer because in the old days when people the master craftsmen are dedicated their whole lives towards this art of crafting jade pendants, and so they are very patient in character. I've seen so many interviews where they are interviewing jade masters, and they say that one of the qualities that they learn from being a jade master is being able to master their patience, because it takes a great deal of patience in order to produce a beautiful piece of pendant. And the thinness of the pendant is also a testament to their skill, because even though jade is supposed to be very hardy and only 0.5 lesser in scale on the more scale than the diamond, so it's very hardy. However, when you are working on it and you're carving on it, and one wrong move and the whole thing could disintegrate or be broken. So that is exactly why the thinner pendants is really a testament of their skill. And I think I suspect that is exactly why the modern pendants are thicker, because they are dealing with less breakage and reducing the risk of any kind of mishaps happening. And then as I was about to go out, I don't know why my eyes kept darting back and looking at this particular pendant that I'm wearing right now. So what drew me to it is because this one is white jade and then it graduates to apple green. And what is the most outstanding feature of this pendant is that it's got the lace work on it, or like a lattice work. So I looked at it, and when I put it on, I knew I couldn't walk away from the shop with this without this pendant. And the seller herself told me that it is a beautiful piece of jade pendant. It's very rare to come across this design, and she is absolutely right, because I have been shopping and looking for decades at jade pieces. I've never come across one which is of this design. And as I mentioned, I really love vintage jade pieces because they remind me of the types of jade that my mom wore or my grandmother wore. It has the same kind of aesthetic and appeal. I think that is exactly why I'm so drawn to it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you had a pleasant time, and who knows, when you are in your hometown as well, you should drop by those old mom and pop kind of a store. They may have as delightful a surprise for you as it did for me. I hope that you have a wonderful week ahead, and I will see you again in my next video. Goodbye.